Have you ever been in a season of your life where you feel like you don't have anyone to talk to? Like you have people, if you have friends, you have family that you could call, but the season that you're in, the things that you're thinking about, there's not a specific person that you actually want to pick up the phone and talk to about these things. That is how I feel right now. That is how I've been feeling for the past few months. Now, I won't say it's my fault. I don't want to use that terminology, but I kind of intentionally and unintentionally in some relationships just stop hanging out with people, stop interacting with people so often intentionally. And if you watch any of my other videos, I talk about just the spiritual journey that I'm on. And it's kind of leading me in a place right now where I feel like I'm out in the wilderness a little bit alone. And it's not scary or anything because I don't feel lonely. I am alone, but I don't feel lonely. It is at the times that I want to talk about some things or get some things off my chest that I feel like, dang, I cut everybody off. Who do I call? Who can I run to? Right. And of course, I sit and I talk with God so much throughout my days, in my prayer closet, just wherever, if I feel like I want to get some things off my chest. But sometimes I feel like I want other human interaction, right? I don't know if anybody else feels like that. So we'll do a story time. That's what we'll do today. I didn't really know where this video was going to go, but I just keep having the urge to make these videos. Like, just you want to talk about some stuff, you want to get some things off your chest, and you don't want to call anybody. So make a video, right? So I'll do a story time. About a year and a half ago, excuse me, I started working at a radio station. And I didn't apply to work at this radio station. I actually went on as a guest with one of my friends who was a co-host. And the co-host was out of town that day or that weekend. So he brought me on. And this specific show, we were talking about relationships and just all type of stuff that they normally don't talk about on their show. But it was just some relationship stuff. I don't even remember specifically what it was. Now, mind you, I had just got out of a relationship. I was engaged. And I haven't really talked about any of this on this channel yet. And I feel like maybe it was too soon. But whatever the reason, here we are today talking about it. But I had just got out of an engagement that relationship lasted about 2 years. We lost a baby, and it was the Friday before Halloween. And then on the Monday, we found out that the baby would have been a boy. So from that point on, the relationship just kind of went downhill. We couldn't recover from that, and we ended up going our separate ways around April of that year. Well, fast forward to June, I'm on this show, this radio show, and we're talking about relationships. So the person who invited me on, he doesn't know the ex-fiance personally, but he does know mutual friends. So I made it very clear, I don't want to talk about this specific person. I don't want to talk about certain things. So I will be on the show, but just certain things I don't want to talk about, right? And at that time, I was drinking heavily, and more so just like, I won't even say recreational, because even on that show, on the radio station, at the radio station, we were drinking like Hennessy sponsored the show, or somebody with Hennessy sponsored the show, and we're just talking, having these conversations, right? So anyway, while we're having these conversations, the station manager was sitting in. He was actually DJing. And after the show, he was like, hey, I want to talk to you. And so we talked briefly. Of course, I was kind of beyond tipsy. And he's like, I want to talk to you. We talk a little bit, and he's just like, why don't you come back to my show? I believe the show that I was on a Sunday afternoon ish or Sunday evening. He's like, my show is Wednesday night. It's Love After Dark, where he plays like R&B, love music, whatever. He's like, I want to have you on my show. And Father's Day was approaching. I believe Father's Day was approaching. And so on his show, that's what we were talking about. Just like, and I believe I might have uploaded something about that on my YouTube channel. But we're talking about like fathers and how, you know, me personally, I didn't have my dad. My dad was in prison my entire life. But how I can respectfully honor men that take care of their kids, do what they're supposed to do for the kids, stuff like that. So we're talking. After his show, he calls me. He's like, hey, I would really like for you to come work for the station. And I'm like, work for the station and do what? He's like, I could give you your own segment, you know, whatever you want to do. We can talk about whatever you want to do. And I was like, yo, this is a pretty cool opportunity, right? So even during his show, we were drinking, of course, getting a little bit beyond tipsy. But I was coherent enough to know, you know, what we were talking about. And I was like, sure, you know, let me think about it, see what we can come up with or whatever. So fast forward, I was doing a late night 90s R&B hip hop session on Sunday nights that was getting a lot of buzz. I was going live on social media and eventually got asked to do Fridays 3 to 5 p.m., which is a rush hour traffic time, prime time, and I moved to that. Now, I was at the station for almost about a year, and for the most part, it was a pretty cool experience. I got to get in a lot of, you know, places, meet a lot of people. So it was a really fun experience. It was pretty cool. But while I was there, you know, I just started to feel like this is a good opportunity, but I don't think it's the opportunity for me anymore. And once the station was moving to a different location, I decided to just, you know, cut ties with the station. Now, during this time, you know, I had obtained my, you know, bartender's license. I had been doing some bartending work for special events, private events, celebrity events, things like that. And, you know, all these things working out for me or whatever. And then it just felt like I no longer wanted to do the things that I was doing. Not that I was doing anything just crazy, but New Year's Eve, I decided that I didn't want to drink anymore. Everybody was at my house chilling, and I was really the only one drinking. So at that moment, I just said, I don't want to do this anymore. It wasn't about a New Year's resolution or anything like that. I just completely stopped. Now, at the time, I also had decided in September of that year that I no longer was going to be fornicating. And, you know, I want to be very clear that on this journey, I'm starting to understand the importance of calling things as though they are, you know, like people talk about being celibate or, you know, just drinking or whatever. But like the deeper I get into the word, the deeper I get into on this spiritual journey, like God calls it what he calls it. Like, this is fornication. This is being a drunkard, being drunken, and stuff like that. So I just started to get like these convictions about those things. And part of that was, you know, me walking away from the radio station. And like I said, just deciding I wasn't drinking anymore on New Year's Eve, deciding I was no longer fornicating. and just all these things, right? All kind of around the same time. And here we are, it's December 2023, and it's been over a year since I have been dealing with men. And it's almost a year since I've had any drinks, right? And I really haven't had the urge to want to do that. And I believe that the reason that I don't have a strong urge for either is I literally remember like crying out to God, asking God to take those feelings away from me, like take the desire away from me, because yes, I was engaged for 2 years, but prior to that, I was married for 18 years, and I was with my husband since I was 16 years old. We have 3 children. So from him, right after him was my fiance. So any man that I was dealing with after the fact, I didn't really have a relationship with them. And it really wasn't because they didn't want a relationship with me. I just felt like, okay, well, it's too soon for me to jump in another relationship. So I'll just deal with you how I want to deal with you. And then it was like, I don't know, I just started having these feelings of this isn't right. This is not producing me anything. It's not yielding me anything. It's not good for my mental. There's too many emotions and so much tied to that. I just didn't want to do it anymore. And then I started to realize, okay, some of the reason why I'm doing what I'm doing is because I'm drinking. So these things go hand in hand, right? So as I'm giving up one and giving up the other, it's becoming easier for me to do. Now, mind you, in my flesh, as a woman that has been in a relationship for the past 20 years, pretty much with 2 men, I have the desire to be with a man, but then at this moment I don't. And I don't really know what I feel, right? Like why, or, maybe right now I feel like a sense of relief a little bit that I don't have to be a wife or be, serving of a man. And maybe that sounds a little, I don't know, selfish or whatever, but I became a wife. I became a mother very young. And even though me and my husband were not legally married young, we were together, at that time. We had a child young, right out of high school. I had my oldest son, and then I had my daughter a year and a half late, almost a year and a half later. So to have this breather now, I don't think it's selfish, but I'm not a woman that's just like, forget all men are dogs or anything like that. Like, I don't feel like that at all. And that's not my mind. That's not where my mind is at. But I just feel like, I think the point I was trying to get to was, I was bartending. I'm working at a radio station, all that. And the thing is, when I left that radio station, I got an opportunity to work for a bigger radio station. And then there was some things that held me back from working there on their end, because I didn't want to abide by some of their stipulations, and I didn't want to go against my own beliefs just to work anywhere. Like, I don't even want to get into all that, but when it comes to, this pandemic and all this stuff that people started requiring their employees after the fact, I just didn't want to abide by that. And I just feel like if I'm not doing something because I personally want to do it, I'm not going to allow somebody to make me do it for a job. Right. So, I prayed about it, and I just felt like, God was saying that's not the opportunity for me. Right. So anyway, I feel like, during this time, I'm giving up dealing with men, giving up drinking. And it was like one day in my prayer time, one day I was reading the word, and it just kind of came to me clear as day, like a thought. Like, I can't even say I heard God say, but it was just a thought that came to my mind, like, so much demonic stuff is in our music, and we think that these things are harmless and it's just music, it's just entertainment. And I won't get into naming names or anything like that. I know a lot of people do that, to get views and stuff. They want to talk about how they feel at concerts and how they feel about certain artists and stuff like that. But it wasn't a specific artist. It was just how I began to feel about music. Like, it was like when I asked God to take the desire for men away from me until it was time for me to be with my husband or to meet my husband, and take the desire of drinking away from me, because for one, that's, especially drinking the way that I was, it's not something that God desires me to do. But when I asked for God to take that desire from me, it was like my eyes were opened up to so much. And I really don't even know how to explain how I feel, like, I don't want to judge anybody that's still out in the world doing what they're doing, you know, being with men, being with women without being married and all that. Like, I'm not judging anybody. I'm not condemning anyone. I'm just saying within like the last year and a half, it just feels like God is saying to me, you can't do what everybody else is doing. Like, I don't care what everybody else is doing. You can't do what they're doing. And I had made a video about this before, saying I felt like that, that I just felt like God was telling me I can't do what everybody else is doing. So that means that, right now I'm in a season of my life where things are a little tough and in different areas. And I could easily go out and go get a job bartending at big events and making money or doing anything. And I feel like I'm not drinking and I can't contribute to other people getting drunk, like wasted. And honestly, since I don't drink like that, it really bothers me to be around people that are just like so inebriated. Like, it really does. And it's not them, it's just whatever's going on in me, it bothers me. So I don't want to contribute to that. I don't want to be around that. Now, in the last few months, I was hanging real tight with someone that is relative to my ex-husband, and it's because she was one of my last clients. So we became friends, like we became close during, before I was divorced, and then through the divorce, we became tighter and tighter after the breakup from my fiance. And so anyway, I was hanging really tight with her, and it was just so many things that were being revealed to me. And it's not even about her specifically, but just like how other people are so hell bent on like running behind men or chasing behind men, or if we go out, that's their number one thing that they're concerned about, and just drinking and all this. And it was just like, man, I didn't want that anymore. My kids are grown. My oldest son is 20. My daughter just turned 19 a couple of days ago, and my youngest son is 13. So I'm literally in a place where I can come and go as I please. I was young having kids and I couldn't. I didn't have the opportunity to go out, hang out, club, party with my friends. I didn't have that. And I was with my then husband. So it was like young, married with children. I didn't get that opportunity. So you would think that the first chance of me being single, boom, that's what I wanted to do. And it really wasn't. I really did start off just recreational drinking and just hanging out. And then, my drinking became heavier and heavier. And excuse me, maybe it was some of the things I was going through mentally and emotionally. And honestly, my mother is a heavy drinker. And so I think just all those things start to come into play when I decided I didn't want to do it anymore, because I didn't want to go so deep down this rabbit hole of, just doing that. And for from the time that, I separated from my fiance, I was just going out, hanging out, going out to eat, not really going to clubs or anything, but just chilling with, my, like I said, a relative of my ex-husband's. And then when I started giving things up, it was just like, just go to work, enroll back in school, be home with your kids. That's all you need to do. Get closer to God. And that really started sparking in me, like the desire to get closer to God, walk closer with God. I'm literally reading the Bible right now, almost every day. I won't say every day. Even I listen to it on audio while I'm at work. And I am so far into the Bible that I've never been before. Like, there's plenty of times I picked up the Bible and try to read it, and I may get through Genesis, or I may get through Matthew or something like that. Just kind of all over the place, getting through some books, but not like I am now. Like, just so deep in the word, and it's like the scales were removed from my eyes, and I understand some of the decisions I made months ago, a year ago, like why now, and why the tough seasons that I'm kind of going through, why it's necessary for me to go through those seasons, because it's building me up for something. It's building me up for wherever God is calling me to go, for whatever God is calling me to do. And oh man, I don't even really, like I said, I don't even really know where I was going with this video. I just felt like I wanted to talk, and I feel so much better now. So whoever is watching this video, I thank you for listening. But I just feel alone, not lonely, but I feel, I guess, when the Bible says God to give you a peace that surpasses all understanding, like, I'm starting to feel and see what that actually means. And a lot of things that I've read, or when I first started to read the Bible, I'm like, where does this apply? And the more I read, it's like the more that is revealed to me, the more that I see, the more that I pick up so quickly. Like social media, I don't follow the pages I used to follow. I don't listen to the music I used to listen to. I don't go the places I used to go. I don't even have the desire to do it. And I'm working on some things that I think I'm battling with. Not necessarily imposter syndrome, because I do know that I'm capable and able to do all things. All things that God is walking with me, that God is ordering my steps. He's going before me. He's walking with me. And everything I want to do, I've been doing it. But I'm just taking so long putting it out, and I don't understand why. Like, this sweater I made because I'm just like, these are the thoughts that I'm having. Like, it's time to reclaim the kingdom culture. Like, we've made all this other stuff so prominent and okay in everyday life, going against the grain on so many things. Like, this is where my heart is, So I've been working on this stuff. I've written a healing journal. I wanted to wait until I was really, really in a place where I was healed past the things that I had gone through, because I didn't want to speak or write from a place of bitterness, or, just talking about anybody in a bad way or anything like that, or just shooting shots or jabbing anybody. So I finished a healing journal. I finished a gratitude journal. I'm almost finished with my prayer journal. And all these things I'm just sitting on, because I'm like, okay, just what do you want to do with this? Like, do you want to give it away? Do you want to put it on your website for sale? Do you want to put it on Amazon? What do you want to do? Right? Kind of a little all over the place, not really knowing what to do. Like, I talk to God, I feel like I hear God, and then there's sometimes where I feel like there's crickets. Like, I don't hear anything, I don't feel anything, I don't know what to do. So it kind of like cripples me from doing anything else because I'm not sure what to do. So anyway, I wrap this up because I'm just gonna be going and going with my thoughts. I thank you again for any and everyone that is watching my videos, and I'm hoping that these videos resonate with people as I'm making them, because I'm just really talking from a place of not, I'm on this journey, and I know other people are trying their best to figure out their way as well. And it's not easy. It feels like it was so much easier just being nonchalant, just coming and going, and just kind of doing whatever you want to do without a care in the world, without thinking about something more than once, just doing you, right? And when you make intentional decisions to disconnect from people that don't add value to you, or they're not on the same path or journey as you, their mind frame is different in this season, and it's not like there's anything wrong with them, like you don't ever want to hang with them again or anything, but in this season, you just have to disconnect and be with yourself more, be with God more. It can feel like you are alone, and then you get tested in so many areas. And I know that there are so many things in the Bible with, God testing people to see if this is what you truly want. This is the life that you truly want, that taking up your cross and following God is what you truly want to do. And not only that, like building you up to be able to withstand, whatever comes with this life, whatever comes with this journey, but also preparing you for the greatness that comes with it, because it's not all hardship. It's not all heartache or painful, but it's not easy either. It's definitely not easy. And that's where I am. I just feel like at this moment, I don't have anybody I can talk to. And I don't want to call, any of my pastor friends or anything like that, because I don't feel like I need prayer. I just maybe sometimes need help kind of thinking my thoughts through, like understanding what I'm thinking or how I'm feeling, or maybe a push to release some of the things that I'm working on, even if not all the way put together, not all the way ready, just kind of going for it. But in due time. Again, I thank y'all for being here. Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe, as I will be dropping a video as of right now every Wednesday, 2 p.m. Central Standard Time. Just kind of random videos at this moment until I really know what God is wanting me to do with this YouTube channel. Really just wanting to serve other people in some type of way, because I know that other people are going through the same thing that I'm going through too. And I just hope that this finds those people and resonate with y'all, to know that you're not alone. And I know I'm not alone. I feel that way though sometimes. But again, thank y'all for watching. Until the next video, see y'all later.